Our guest this morning turned his life full 360. He started out as a janitor and climbed his way up. Now a life coach, Russ Juson does not claim there is a hack to winning life, but changing your frame of mind makes all the difference. Let's talk life and money with Coach Russ live in the studio. It's a beautiful day, Coach. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, and thank you for having me here. Indeed, it's always a beautiful day, even if it's not.
Tama yan, actually.
Oh, yes, actually. It's all about mindset,
Yeah,
diba?
life happens to us, but the question here is what and how we deal with it.
Yeah. How do you
In the end, do I
react?
get victimized, or I have a choice to make this something that I can be excited about?
Yeah.
There's always opportunity every time we perceive something that is problem or struggle.
Right.
Always opportunity to step up and rise up.
You know, with that intro that we mentioned, you were a janitor
Yeah.
before, and then you rose from that situation. Kind of reminds me of that Drake song. Started from the bottom, now we're here. But anyway, Coach, bakit ka ganyan lagi mag-react
Go!
sa akin? But Coach, you have an amazing story. So can you fill us in on how you were able to flip the script of your life?
Right. I feel so blessed because I grew up with everything that's disadvantage in my life. Feeling bobo, not smart enough, repeater in grade school, really ugly, dark, fat boy. And I think in the 70s when you grow up, pag hiwalay yung parents mo, talagang weird, no? Unlike right now, pag hindi hiwalay parents mo, parang
It's normal.
it's normal.
Yeah.
No? So I have all of those disadvantage, and therefore I finished school with the worst grades, and then nobody wanted to, accept me in work. So not even the fast food chain in Davao City.
Yeah.
So the first job that was available for me was that of a janitor / promodizer.
Okay.
And the great thing around it is I met not a boss, not a manager, but 1993, for it to hear a word mentor was not even something that's really something new. So he was
Yeah.
a mentor to me, and he introduced to me the power of personal development.
Okay.
And sabi ko nga, pag pinanganak kang pangit, kasalanan ng magulang mo yan. Pero pag namatay kang pangit, kasalanan mo na yan. The same thing, pag pinanganak kang mahirap, kasalanan magulang mo yan, kasi pasa-pasa yun eh. Pero pag namatay kang mahirap, kasalanan mo yan. So,
Yeah.
therefore, personal development was introduced to me at age 21. So I started from a janitor, promodizer, salesman. Until age 35, I felt I was the most successful human being alive I know for myself, simply because I was able to achieve financial success,
Yeah.
all the things, all the dreams, traveling.
Yeah.
But little did I know, it allowed me to get into the most darkest, the emptiest that I felt, and only to realize that every human being carry a lot of pain, carry a lot of trauma, and we tend to project this with people around us.
Yeah.
So the higher I go to the ladder of success, the lower I feel empty, and that created a question in my life. So is there something else that's better? And
Yeah.
good thing, I was able to attend, a program that allowed me to recreate, something that was me, that was holding me back, and therefore it was really healing me, healing the child that was wounded. And right now at 54, I feel so blessed. I not only have a financial freedom, I also have the time freedom. But these two are useless, not unless you have fulfillment.
Yeah.
So the
Right.
fulfillment that I feel right now is I'm able to speak about my story. I'm able to help more people
Right.
to see their lives differently. And thousands of people right now are, part of the program and also the community that I truly so in love with. It's this year's maybe 1-year anniversary. It's called
Wow.
Ako Naman Muna. It's a movement
Yeah.
that everything that's going on in my life is not about the external things, but it's really taking care of me. So if I start to take care of myself, it's self-first, not selfish, then I can take care of everyone around me.
Right.
There's so many things I want to touch on first. First off, I want to correct yung script namin. Sabi doon, full 360, we mean full 180. Kasi 360, bumalik lang sa simula eh. And apart from that, you don't look 54. You look younger.
Not at all,
Just to be
yeah.
clear, you don't look older, you look younger. And then the next thing is that I want to touch on the fact that you said na ang tayo mong disadvantage sa simula. And you put the word blessing attached to it instead. And then you even mentioned that even when you found success at 35, it still brought you were still in a dark place. So I want to talk about yung disadvantages na yan. And of course, yung mga quote-unquote negative and how you still saw it as a blessing.
It's the same story that I hear from everyone, and people with bash with too much positivity. In the end, I don't know any other solution except the way I changed my mind. So therefore, the mindset of a lot of people right now, especially Filipino, is what we call victim mindset, which means the world happens to me, and I cannot do anything around it.
Right.
And therefore, I have to stay there, be poor for the rest of my life, be ugly for the rest of my life. And yes, I have nothing against it. The only question is, do you want to be poor for the rest of your life? Do you want to be ugly for the rest of life? And if not, there's a new choice. The new choice here is, yes, the world happens to me. I'm a victim. And what do I do about it? Will I still cry about it? Or nah, I'm going to use this to my advantage. Durin mo, Paolo, no, had I been born in a, as handsome as you are, or as intelligent as you
Actually,
are.
sa magulang
just
ko na yan.
accept it.
Sa magulang ko na yan.
Thank you.
I would not be here sitting down and talking about my story. So, great job. No, I mean, even my parents said, Dad, buti na lang, no? Because when I grew up, I feel so insecure. I don't feel any love from people around me. And that now becomes my story. Because at the end of the day, this is my calling. At the end of the day, a lot of people right now are lost, are miserable, stressed and anxiety, in spite of fame and money, simply because, okay, there's a difference between a job. A job is, it pays the bill, but you hate it. A career is, it pays the bill, but you can only do it to some extent, maybe at age, 60? But a calling is something that you find that you can do for the rest of your life, and at the same time, you're willing to do it whether you're paid or not. Plus, it becomes now a message to the world. So right now, my calling is healing myself so I can heal other people. And in return, because of social media, I'm able to monetize it. So, so it becomes now a blessing to me. So had I not experienced all of those, I wouldn't be here talking about my story. That, hey, no matter what's going on in your life, right? Whether it's the deepest, darkest, or the shitest moment of your life, be excited about it, because when you start thinking differently, use this to your advantage, use this to rise up, use this to heal yourself so you can heal other people, then that's where the flip will come in.
Coach, as a life coach, when you talk to your clients, the community that you're helping, what are the most common struggles that you have noticed among them? And nagkakaroon ba ng changes in yung mga problems pagdating sa yung different generation? Like if you have older clients, iba yung problems na, and mga Gen Z, what do they usually struggle with?
From the surface, no, you know, I have a Facebook page. I receive around 300 to 500 messages every day. 90% of the struggle is money.
Money.
So when I am in conversation with them, not one-to-one, but one-to-many, money is never about money problem, but it's the wound that you have, that you experience as a little child, that shows up in your money life today. And therefore, when you get to start to understand that and heal that money wounds that came from maybe how you were raised, the things that you see outside, then money problem is no longer a problem, it becomes opportunity. So here's the thing, okay? We have 5 generations right now, I think 6, according to the Alpha generation. In the end, we all have the same struggles, except that the younger generation are just more vocal. The younger generation can just speak out. Why? In my generation, I'm Gen X. Okay?
Same.
Really?
Yes.
As a millennial.
The only reference we have is encyclopedia. Right now, they have 24 hours that they have an option to see. So now they see there's a bigger, better option, and now they can speak out. So in our generation, tahimik ka lang.
Yes.
If you speak out, raise your hand, shut up, you hide. Right now, they have many options. So which means we all have the same issues in life. What are these? We call it humanity issues. Number 1, I feel not good enough. So if you're overworking, you're perfectionist, maybe you got this as a little child wherein you were compared. Okay, so we all have that, by the way. Okay. Number 2, I feel unloved. Most probably, people who were raised not by their parents, OFW kids. How come my neighbor is raising me? How come my lola or yaya? It's not my real parents. So I therefore seek out love from other people, and all of this becomes now a real issue, especially romantic relationship, feeling unloved. No? Yung masyadong ma-issue, high maintenance relationship, alam mo yung laging humihingi ng affirmation. Third is I'm bad. No? which means these are defiant. Wala naman kailangan makipag-away, pero nakikipag-away. Simply because, again, that's a belief system. In the end, these are just the things that we pick up while we were growing up, specifically people who raised us, from the television show that we see, from the environment, from the school, then becomes now a life reality that maybe we can start changing it the moment we start taking a look at on how we think.
You know, you mentioned one of the most common problems is money, and which is, to be honest, quite understandable. Pero you mentioned that even nung nagkapera ka, may problema ka pa rin. So it begs the question for me, what about potential clients who actually do have money? Like normally, what do they struggle with when they approach you and look for ways to develop personally to try and siguro escape that? Kasi minsan sumasukses ka nga, but then it doesn't necessarily fill whatever you want it to fill.
All right. Again, people who do have the money, because I work a lot with entrepreneurs right now, because they are the people who I want to help.
Yeah.
Because I want to see a better Philippines by making sure that we create economy here. And the only way we can create economy here is to empower, again, entrepreneurs. But here's the thing. Those who made it happen, those who made it big, they don't have any intention to make it bigger, even though they have the capacity to make it big, even though they have the market to make it big, simply because the pain of running business is too much. Why? The business cannot run without them. And therefore, what I bring into the table is letting them know that at the end of the day, in the end, why do we want money? Okay, why do we want finances? It's not about the money, but it's really what's behind it. Because we want to be happy, we want to be peaceful, and we want to be playful with our life. And because we are running after money, we forget about the most important things in life.
Yeah.
Now, what if I'm going to give you something to work on that, yes, you still want this and you have a bigger vision, but we have a state, what we call ease and flow.
Okay.
What is an ease and flow? An ease and flow really is a state wherein you just live as to the greatness of who you are. And who you are is a creation of a higher power, higher being. I call him God, whatever you call him. And therefore, if you are a creation of higher being, higher God, or maybe you call him a limitless being, and therefore your job here is just to connect to that. So most important part here for the entrepreneurs, I would really suggest to go dig deep inside to who you are, but make sure that you're not just running after profit, but at the end of the day, it's also running after what's real, what's important, which is what I call purpose. So if you live from purpose, right, and I'm guarantee you, profits will just follow.
I wanted to go back to that, what we were talking about a while ago, when you mentioned childhood wounds. So you don't really have money problems, but you have those childhood wounds from the past that are actually causing all these conflict or problems, right? So let's talk about healing those childhood wounds. How do you... Kasi parang dumarating ka ba sa point na you are completely healed, or it's a continuous process as you grow older? And how do you approach healing for the different clients that you have, for the different generations,
Nice.
diba?
You are to heal yourself, for me, a lifetime basis. I'm not saying that I'm completely healed, because I'm completely healed, I would have my billions right now, right? So therefore, what's the sign that you are not completely healed? Okay, sometimes you get triggers. Okay, sometimes you get irritated. Sometimes how you want your life to be is not the way it is, and therefore there's a lot of things that you need to start working on. So what are the steps? Again, these are the same generation. It doesn't matter whether you belong to traditional or Gen Alpha. We all are the same human being, and therefore, what are the steps around it? Number one, okay, self-awareness, which means knowing that whatever is going on internal, knowing whatever is going on in your life right now, it's a direct reflection that's going on. Then you need to acknowledge that. So which means if you have somebody, a partner, a husband or wife, and you're fighting, okay, it's never about them or their behavior, but it's about that inner child that's going on for you. Okay. So therefore, if we're speaking about money, maybe the pain that you see growing up was coming from money. So I did not come from a poor family. Okay, I come from a good family, except the fight that was going on at home was all about money, money, money. And so therefore, when I started earning a lot of money, I tend to throw it away. I tend to go to a space wherein alam kong mawawala to, alam kong may scam to. And I was looking at why, what's going on? I'm not as stupid as I can be, but how come this is going on? Then I start tracing back, okay, how was it growing up? All right, the source of conflict at home was money. So how do I now repair it? Okay, how do I now look at it? So number one, recognize where did it come from. Number two, energetically take it off from your system. So we have a process. It's a closed-side process wherein we bring you back to little child. We allow you to remember mom and dad. How was it growing up in terms of money?
Okay.
And after that, we now start to take a look at on how can we now release, let go, and forgive. So we go through a process of releasing, forgiving, speaking about it energetically. Then we reframe, all right? So that was happening at that time because, again, maybe our parents was just not learned enough around money, and now I have the capacity to do it.
Yeah.
But the most important part, some people just recognize it, but there's no change, there's no transformation because they don't go to the last part, which is what's called rebuild yourself. So which means now I know this is what's going on for me, I have to start changing my verbal conditioning. Which in some people, verbal conditioning is laging kulang ang pera, laging mahirap ang pera, versus money comes to me easily and effortlessly. So if that's your verbal conditioning, you need to start number two, allow yourself to experience it. So which means pag may nakita kang piso, kita mo, ang bilis. So pag may nag-deposit sa'yo ng income, kahit mababa, wow, thank you, mabilis yan. So the moment you start speaking about it, feeling about it, experiencing about it, collecting evidence na talagang money comes to me easily and effortlessly, then that becomes a bigger game. But here's the thing, environment is actually 55% of the transformations, which means you have to surround yourself with people who thinks the same, with people who speaks the same, with people who experience the same, people who will actually start to support you. I would always say transformation begins with number one, verbal conditioning, that's 7%. Okay? Number two, experiences, that you need to start collecting evidences, that you have to prove to yourself that it's true, it's true. And 55%, the largest is really community. Largest is really support system that will allow you to be in full alignment with what you want to happen in your life with the community that you're in.
Coach, you know, we're running out of time, but I want to touch on the messaging that you have been giving here. Because you mentioned that you talk to all of these generations, all of them have their own problems or way of dealing with things, but then the way that you talk, the way that you have a certain system always in place when it comes to doing your work, coaching and talking to people. We've seen pictures of all of these interactions that you've had as well. When you take a look at the message that you're given, how universal is it to the point wherein, okay, maybe some person might take the message differently, but it will still have the impact that you intend sa buhay nila?
Yeah. It's universal in the sense that we are all the same human being. Whether you belong to this generation, we all want to be loved. We all want to feel valued. We all want to be seen. We all want to express. We all have the same dreams that we all want to help as many people as we can. Except that we are just raised differently. Our generation was like a machine. Sunod ka lang, di ba? We tend to stay longer. But this new generation is now in a generation wherein I feel they're awakened already, wherein we have now come to realize that there's a new earth that's going on right now. It's called the Age of Aquarius, where the Age of Aquarius is all about consciousness, it's all about spirituality, it's all about making a difference. And that's where the Gen Z is coming in. And therefore, if we speak their language, we get to embrace them, we get to see them. And I think that's where I want to focus myself right now, is to work with these kids because maaring sila yung magbabago ng Pilipinas.
Yeah.
Right,
You know, Coach,
yes.
just to make sure that dumami yung mga messages mo per day, I know you're at 300 to 400, 500 now. Let's get to 600, guys, okay? So, dumugin nyo lang. Where can they find you, Coach Russ?
I'm active on Facebook page, no? Siyempre, Tito and Tita's Facebook yan. No? It's Transformational Coach Russ, and yeah, I read all the messages and I have community. It's all free. Because again, my dream, no? One day, Philippines first world country. Walang mangingibang bayan kasing ekonomiya na dito kasi nagbago ang pananaw ng Pilipino tungkol sa kanilang sarili, dakilang lahi, anak na pinagpala, anak ng Diyos.
Again, with money, without money, go message Coach Russ. Let's get that count to around 600.
1,000 maybe.
Wait
even,
lang,
diba?
small steps muna. Small steps muna. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Mindset daw eh, di ba?
Oo,
So you
oo.
focus your mind on that. But thank you so much for your time. Such an inspiring, motivating conversation with you. Life coach Russ Juson, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here.